Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, broadcasting to you live from emosocialclub.tv. I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie, and we're back here, and we're with Gage from Stage Moms. Hello, how are you this evening?
Sup? How you doing? Thanks for having me, for real. This is awesome.
Absolutely. So welcome. You are from a band called Stage Moms from West Virginia, the westernmost Virginia in the Commonwealth. I don't know.
That's true.
It is, to be fair, that is accurate facts. It's just who would ever say that?
That's a hot take.
It's a hot take. You know what? I'm willing to say it. West Virginia, West-ist Virginia. So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about your band, about yourself, and yeah, let's introduce you to the club.
Okay, cool. So yeah, like they said, my name's Gage. I do vocals in the band Stage Moms. We're from Moundsville, West Virginia, which is pretty much the middle of nowhere. We're in the West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania tri-state area. So like, I technically live in Ohio, but the rest of the band lives in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. So it's kind of like a whole cluster of towns and stuff. They're all like real small towns. But yeah, we started in like late 2019 and put out an EP called Long Drives and Late Nights. And then we just toured off of that. And then the pandemic hit. So we just been writing, and we just recorded a new EP called Almost Heaven Feels Like Hell. That'll come out March 12th.
Awesome. And for the first EP, because you guys are a fairly new band, but the sound that you have is such like an iconic feel-good pop punk type vibe. At least that's what it gives me. How did y'all kind of come together to say, hey, we're going to have this band and then we're going to call it Stage Moms and we're going to roll with it?
So I started the band with two people who aren't even like, when I started like a little text group with these two dudes, and they ended up not really working out. But one of the people in that group was like, hey, I've been trying to start this band with my friend Drew. And then which is he was our guitarist, and now he's our drummer on this next EP. But Drew is the only one from that like original group chat that came up. But I met Drew on the day of our first practice, and then Grayson, our guitarist, him and I used to play in a band called Down They Fall, and then we had a project right after that called Vage Goda. And so I've known Grayson for years. And then Dom, our bass player, I knew them since like 2014, maybe 2015. And they play like indie folk type music. So like I asked them to play bass, and they were like, sure, I'll try. And then we kind of like really clicked well. Like we recorded the first EP, like I think a month and a half after we had our first band practice. So like we just clicked really well. And then the name Stage Moms, I was like on Facebook scrolling through Facebook, and there was a Turnover tour flyer. I think they were playing in like Australia or whatever, and they were touring with a band called Hockey Dad. And I was like, dude, what's next? Like Stage Moms. So kind of just like kind of stuck.
Damn, that's really good.
You really took the meme and you said, actually, I can do you one better.
Yeah. Like I originally, I guess it was I said Dance Moms, like the TV show, and then I was like, wait, Stage Moms is funnier. So then we just like literally like within the like 5 minutes of seeing Hockey Dad, not even listening to them. Like I still don't think I've ever listened to them, but
they're like that indie. They're like that indie folk rock that
really?
Not to be mean, that kind of sounds like everybody else. So you're not missing out too much.
That's sick. I'm gonna have to check them out after this. I don't know why I've never checked them out. I just always forgot.
You just tweet out to them, be like, "Hey guys, so thanks for like inspiring our band name, because we just want to be equally as ridiculous as all of you."
Yeah. Thanks, y'all. But I don't know what you sound like at all.
I was really campaigning for Canned Bread, but no one in the band was digging that as a name. So then Stage Moms just clicked. But
Yeah.
I think Canned Bread would have been a great band name.
I could have done so many SpongeBob memes with it. And
Oh yeah, that was
That was
exactly
the whole
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yes.
Like there are a lot of bands that are like mom jeans and
Yeah, exactly.
Lizzie always will introduce me to new bands and it'll be like a 2-word name and I'll be like, oh, I think you told me about them before. And she's like, no. And I'm like, I don't know what I can't help you here. I don't know what you're telling me to listen to.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's always like one of those things where I'm like, oh my god, there's so many of these bands like that. So I totally get where like the meme comes from.
You're gonna have to navigate to cleaning products at a certain point. Someone's gonna just be like, my band name is Soapbox, and that's it. And it probably already exists out there, but we just are unaware.
If you name your band Soapbox from this podcast, please get in touch with us.
That's got some major Midwest emo
Absolutely.
vibes. Oh, dude, yes. There's one just called, I think they're called like Sports Etc. or something like that. It's like, or just sports or something.
That's good.
Yeah. So funny.
Oh god. I think band names are like the hardest part of starting a band.
Yeah.
Like if I were ever to start like be in a band that was up and coming now, I'd be like, I'll just be in a band that's already in progress. I don't want to come up with a name.
I feel that. I was in a band called Down They Fall, which like it lasted from like high school to like 2018. And like the name was like not a funny name or whatever, but like all of our song titles were called like ridiculous names. So then like after that band, I was like, I don't ever want to be in a project that doesn't have like a funny name. So like after that, I started a band called, or just like a folk punk project with Grayson called Vage Goda, which is just, my name's Gage Voda. So it's just switching the two. Yeah. And then Stage Moms. So I always like these funny names.
Yeah. That's pretty good too. It's pretty good too though. Like I'm not going to lie. Like I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I got the press release and I looked at it. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a fun band name. What's going on here? Let me check it out.
Yeah. It's so West Virginia is not a state that I've ever personally been to. I've been to Ohio, but I realized Ohio is a large state and it borders a lot of other states and has a lot of different influences from different locations, like in the Midwest area and the sort of heading towards Northeast area. But we are from Chicago. We are insulated here, unfortunately. Like we are just like, it's Chicago. We assume all this stuff. But I never would have assumed that like there'd be much of like a pop punk scene in, as you describe it, the middle of nowhere and somewhere where like you're kind of just like, you know, we assume like playing to nobody because it's like nobody likes pop punk in that area. Like you got to go to like the big cities. Like, are you from an area where there's a big pop punk scene, or is it?
So, like I said, I technically live in Ohio, but we're based out of Moundsville, West Virginia, because I owned a venue in Moundsville, West Virginia called Thunderbirds. So like there is a really good like DIY like underground scene, but it's because, now this isn't just saying me, like I have had a bunch of people with me, but like that's because we created it, and like there were scenes at like before us and stuff. So like I don't want to like take all the credit because there are some amazing bands that have toured through our towns and stuff. But like for as far as like Moundsville and stuff, like there's like, now that Thunderbirds closed because of Corona, there's nothing. So it's like there is and there isn't. And like, I mean, as pop punk, like, yeah, it's a pretty good pop punk. I mean, there's like a band called The Overlooked. They're from St. Clairsville, Ohio, which is actually the town I'm from. And they'd always play Thunderbirds. There was a band called Pleonasm that was like kind of like fiddler type punk. I don't know if you're familiar with the band Fiddler, but like that style. And there's a bunch of like metal bands, like some hardcore bands, like the band False Accusations. They co-own the venue with me. And then There was like just so many, but we actually really like our best shows were hip hop shows. Like the best shows at Thunderbirds, those shows would be packed, and like the whole like we call it like the Ohio Valley, which is like all these little towns. So like Moundsville and Santa Clara'sville, like I was saying, but in Wheeling, West Virginia, there was a really big hip hop scene, and the venue's like right in front of where we practice now. So like it's all connected, but it's kind of confusing if you don't if you're not from here. It's kind of hard to explain, but
yeah,
the scene is really good. Like the last show we had at Thunderbirds was March 13th, and that was Stage Mom's like the first date of our tour. We were going down, we played South by Southwest, and obviously that got canceled, but
right.
The first date had like 60 kids there, and that was like with like things like I'm not sure if we should still even have this show or have this
right.
tour, but so like yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, shows are obviously hit or miss as any venue or any promoter or anything, but when all the bands were like would all lock in and just like we're actually like gave a shit about the show. I hate to say it like that, but you know how it is. But the shows they'd be packed. They'd be really good.
Nice. You said metal, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm like. When I went to college in a small town in Illinois, it's like, yeah, it's either all metal or like butt rock, and then you're like, I'm the kid that's in emo, or I'm the kid that's in the pop punk, and they're like, okay, we don't have that here. We don't serve that at this restaurant.
We always had a lot of. We always had a lot of metalcore, honestly. Like when I say metal, it's like metalcore, like more than like butt rock or like dad metal. We definitely have a fair share of dad metal, but
love dad metal.
Same.
It's like you feel stupid liking it, but it's like no, it's like I feel like we were so arrogant about like our scene, and we're like these dads out here, like, you know, you're coming into my venues and you're playing this like shitty stuff and you don't even care. You don't want to be famous or nothing. And I'm out here working really hard. And now I look back at it and I go, it's just good for you, man. Like enjoy it. Keep doing it.
Nah, I mean, I don't personally listen to that music, but I dig it. I mean, I think it's sick that like older people are able to still play music, and like the place we rent our like the practice space we rent now, the band's country band that we rent out their practice space, and like unless it's like outlaw country, I pretty much hate it, but like dude, those dudes rock. Like those dudes are sick. Like those dudes are like, they're called Zane Run, and they're sick as heck, dude. I love them.
Sick as heck. Really fitting into the vibe here.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I was gonna say that those like Now CDs, they have a That's What I Call Dad Rock, and they have like Sum 41 on it, and Avril Lavigne's Complicated.
Dang.
Your Invisible Pain.
That just makes me feel old.
Right? Like not only is it on a compilation.
The fact that entire series is still alive and running really blows my mind. I saw it and I said, there's no way this is still a thing. And it 100% is.
That's crazy. You'd think they just like become a Spotify playlist or something.
Yeah. Like physical media nowadays. Like
I know.
I want to put it on vinyl for you. Just for you.
Oh my God. Please don't give me a vinyl of that.
please give me a vinyl.
Yeah. This is the highest fidelity dad rock you can get.
Yes.
Just their selling point.
Dude, there was a venue in Martins Ferry, Ohio, which again is part of the Ohio Valley. It's about like 15 minutes away from me, and they used to have this place called the Steel Mill Bar and Grill, and they had like an outside show or an outside venue type thing. Like it was like a patio, but they had like legit stage and like legit lights and stuff. And I just remember Kip Winger played there, and I thought it was the weirdest thing ever, because like the valley is small.
Yeah.
but yeah, I just thought it was wild that that he played there.
I mean, I remember like the biggest story I can remember is like Mumford and Sons, where they would just go to a lot of smaller areas of the US and just did like these small town tours because there's more people that will come to your show. Like, there ain't shit to do. You're coming to a show is, I believe, the theory behind that.
They're like, they got a mandolin. Like, where else are you gonna
that
hear
mandolin?
That? I gotta go.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that documentary that what was it called? No Cameras Allowed, I think it was called, where that it was just this dude who was like a photographer, videographer that would like sneak into like Coachella and stuff, and he ended up like becoming like best friends with Mumford and Sons and like went out on tour with them. Dude,
Wow.
they literally did a tour where they just took a train. Like, it was crazy. And like coming from like a folk punk background, I think that's hilarious and like sick, but like it was a bougie train. Like,
Amtrak, or are we talking about like their own private train?
No, yeah, that's a good
it was their
train.
own private train.
Yeah.
It was
so
crazy.
They turned into like Snowpiercer, but hopefully not as
Oh my
bad as Snowpiercer.
Oh my god, I haven't got to watch that yet, but yes.
It's not.
Where do you
it's very
rank
different
in
from
the
that.
Mumford and Sons train?
Oh my God, Lizzie. Just going on tour, man. Just trying to get to the next venue.
That's funny.
Not trying to save humanity or nothing.
I just want to be Mumford and Sons, please.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
So I also did see that Sophomore Slump, the first single off of your upcoming EP, it's like right at 1 million views on YouTube, or maybe you already hit 1 million views on YouTube. Hopefully you have.
1 million.
I think it was. Maybe I can't do math.
I thought it was like 4,000.
Hey, I went on your guys' Twitter and I was like,
Oh,
that'd
God.
be like really sick. If that
No, that was Grayson just trolling.
Oh my God. We were about to like pretend. We're like, oh shit. These
I
guys
was
are
like,
big.
what? No, we have like four views.
Oh my God. I was about to look it up too. I was about to just be like, wait, hold on here.
Very impressive. I was like, oh, that's really sick.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was like, why isn't it trending more?
Unfortunately, we just are decent at memes, I guess.
3.2K.
You got the name. You could have been harassing the dance moms in general, but you didn't.
Oh, dude.
We're all. It's all
that would
coming
be
together.
hilarious. We need to get that JoJo. Was it JoJo Siwa?
Yeah.
We need to get. We need to get
Icon.
that feature. Oh my God, that'd be hilarious.
Hey,
You're at
JoJo
3.2. You're at 3.2, which I don't think that's anything to be upset about by any means. In 2 months, like that's pretty good. And now
That's
we're gonna try to
hilarious.
get you. We're gonna try to get you as close as we can, as we can. But that may be still very far.
Everyone watching this, if y'all don't make us break 1 million and by the next 20 minutes.
Oh my God. The next
got 20 minutes.
of you listening to this podcast on Monday. I swear to God.
Well, after the podcast, please finish the podcast, and then we will expect you to be 20
minutes after the podcast.
Yeah.
There.
So if you're listening to this, finish the episode, and then as soon as it's done, go to YouTube and just watch the video a bunch of times in 20 minutes.
Or you can be chaotic like me and just have your phone listening to the podcast, but then your computer playing the music.
Oh my God, will you do that?
I have to. Well, first of all, I have to do it for work, so I've trained myself to do it. Second of all, it's just how I live.
Oh my God. That's chaotic good though, at least.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Do you guys remember when Justin Bieber was like panicking about his song not getting to #1, so he tweeted about having everyone just like constantly loop it? Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want everyone out there.
But here's the thing: the Sophomore Slump is actually a good song, while Yummy is not a good song. And listen,
that is correct.
I think Justin Bieber's first album, when he was like literally 12, fucking hits. I just want to put that out there. It fucking hits. My world hits. But Yummy is terrible. Please do not listen to Justin Bieber's Yummy.
Yummy is not a good song. I agree with Lizzie's take. So I believe that this is 100% deserved. That we should get it to 1 million.
That's not the one with Chance the Rapper, is it? I feel like that song's definitely not called Yummy.
Yeah,
that song's like about God.
Yeah.
That'd be weird. That song was called. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a different one. Yummy was just terrible. It's kind of lame. It's kind of lame.
I don't know if I've ever heard it, actually. I'm going to have to check it out. I guess I will get a stream off of me.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be like, oh, hell yeah.
What the fuck was that? And it's supposed to be for his wife. And I'm like, how's it feel to like have written the worst song for your significant other?
He's got a song called Yummy about his wife. That's sick. That's badass.
What was really bad about it was the marketing was like all babies. Somehow,
yeah, it was really
they were doing
weird.
something, and I'm like, no, stop it, stop it. Who?
That's crazy. No. Babies?
Yeah, just like babies, like either like were the subject, like he wasn't like singing it to them, but the song was playing, and there were babies on your screen. Like if you were looking at an ad or a video or something of it, it was like, why am I seeing a baby right now? I don't want to.
Weird.
This is a weird song to listen to while the visual of a baby is on the screen. I don't like it. There are a lot of people who are like, the fuck you trying to do, Bieber?
That's funny. I don't like pay attention to him really that much. So like I haven't heard the song, but I definitely remember that tweet going like viral.
Oh yeah.
But I thought he was promoting an album. I didn't realize it was just a song. So that's even funnier. And it was called Yummy.
Oh God. Yeah. Even just the name of it. I'm like, oh God. Stop it.
That's funny.
It was Tekashi 6ix9ine who did the same thing when his song or his album didn't get to number one. And it's like, man, there's something going on in the music industry here where like, if you're not number one, then like you don't mean anything to anybody.
Well, also,
I'm like,
oh yeah,
Tekashi 6ix9ine should be just number 0 because he's a terrible human in general.
Yeah, I don't care for that man, but
the amount of like it's like random facts I know about that guy is ridiculous. And I don't even like listen to him. It's just like everyone always like there's like a documentary, then like every rap podcast always talks about him. Then there's like another like podcast about like it's like I don't even like care. But like I just know so much about this guy.
Like if you went to trivia like after coronavirus and you're like, all right guys, I got you. It's the rap section. We're talking about Tekashi. I got it. That's it.
Yeah.
Win.
It would be like that episode of The Office when they all try to win that like $5,000 or whatever.
You'll be the one who's like, I'm pretty sure this is about Tekashi 6ix9ine. I got this shit.
Yes.
And then you go to another one and you're like, none of these questions are about 6ix9ine.
This is not what I was expecting.
I'm in the wrong room.
This is about music theory. I'm lost.
Yeah.
Be like, listen though, the music theory is Tekashi 6ix9ine and how he's a horrible person, but people keep talking about him. Listen, guys, come with me.
It's like that meme from like The Hangover where it's like all the numbers up in his head and stuff.
That's like, wait, I got this. I'm a musician.
God, that's hilarious.
So yeah, we'll get you to 1 million. I don't want to make that promise to you, but I also don't not want to make the promise to you.
I'm literally like suing you guys if we don't get to 1 million.
We're not Robin Hood, the app.
Yeah.
We're not to be sued this week.
Robin Hood.
We have very little control over backing up any of our claims.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Well, let's talk maybe a bit about the upcoming EP, which I'm assuming then was mostly recorded over the last year, which is a great time to make music, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we sorry. What just happened?
No,
What'd you say?
the fact that Brian just referenced that it's been a whole last year since we pretty much been in lockdown. Basically,
Oh yeah,
is so
no, it's been a
mind-blowing to me.
full-on year. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was talking to that about that with my therapist today, and it was it was a talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we recorded back in September up in Hamilton, New Jersey with Nick Brazizi. I can never say his last name right. Nick from Man Overboard and
Nice. Okay.
Ace Enders from the early November.
Yeah,
And
very nice.
we recorded 5 songs. Sophomore Slump was the first single off of that, and then February 23rd, our song 231 comes out, and that's about Thunderbirds, which was the venue I owned, and kind of like it's more about like the feeling of like how like losing it and everything was, and then the rest of the EP is just like kind of like I don't want to say part 2, but like kind of like the evolution or what continuation of everything I talked about on the last EP, and because our like these 2 EPs go chronologically in order from the first song of the last EP to the last song of this EP. Like it's just like one long story.
Very nice.
That's pretty cool, especially like to continue that. We talked with our friends in Rusted Hearts, and they're doing like a trilogy EP release.
That's cool.
And I see that it's like over quarantine, and we had discussed this before on like different podcasts with different guests. It's like everyone's kind of moving away from like the traditional full album, and they're just doing either EPs or like singles, or like, oh, here's 3 songs or 2 songs at a time. But they're still, people are still telling stories. They're getting really creative with it. And I just think that's like really cool.
Yeah, I've never like, I've been playing music for pretty much like over half my life. I started when I was like 14 and I've never made an album like ever. Any project I've ever been in is just like never made an album. But like I think the next thing we're trying to do after this EP is like maybe put out a couple singles and then try to release a full album, just because I think that an album, like, I know it's kind of like this kind of thinking's kind of dated, but like I just kind of think there's like more that you could get. Like it's an easier like selling point or whatever for like getting people to listen to it more, which is not true because singles are definitely way easier. But I don't know. I feel like albums they just have a special place in my heart. So I really want to make one for this band.
I get
Just
that.
be like, guys, we have one album and the rest is EPs and singles.
Yeah.
But we did what we came to do.
Let's see. Yeah. Honestly, that'd be sick. Just like one album.
One album.
That's the going back to the Midwest emo thing. That's the Midwest emo strategy. One album and then just dip.
Yeah, really is. And we were talking about some bands recently that like they just put out like one album and then they got dropped from their label or whatever like that, and then the band broke up. And it's like, man, there were some like really good albums that like we'll never hear from that band again. They're just like, whatever. But like you really could just be like, we want to be like that, where we're like the legit like one album band, but then we also just release like a bunch of other songs. So it's like we technically are one album.
That's like the is this isn't really one, but like how Quentin Tarantino says like he's only gonna make a certain amount of films, and so like each one he's like, this is the 17th version of like, it's always just like he numbers them. I think that's really cool. I think that's sick.
That's actually what every Midwest emo band wants to be, is Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino.
Some way, shape, or form.
That's actually
I don't know
fair.
why, just for some weird reason, they're like, this is the model, this is the formula that I have to follow.
Oh my God.
I
hope not.
Like, I think that when you look at other things like that and you start to go like, oh, I could do like this really funny thing where like Quentin Tarantino only is going to put out 10 movies. And it's like, we could say this band is only going to put out 10 EPs and one album. And then like a movie, like you put out like one movie and you're like, yeah, we did all this shit. Like, it's just, hey, this is who we are. And people are like, oh my God, they're putting out an EP. This is like one of the only ones they're ever going to put out.
Dude. y'all are probably gonna laugh at me for this, but that's basically what ICP did. Like they were like very, very strategic about like like if it was like an album, it was like, oh my god, like it's got this like they're the great Malenko, which is like the clown person or like the guy with the hat, whatever. But like I think they said they were only gonna put out like 4 of those albums, and so like it was like this is the 3rd, and then they put out the 4th, and then everyone like freaked out. And then I think they put out another one after that. So I don't know, but yeah,
it's all right, guys. It's fine. It's a joke. It's fine.
Yeah,
you can't break that. If you say it, you got to do it. You got to be like hard on your rules there.
You got to be down with the clowns. You got to be, Brian.
Got to be down to clown.
Yeah, dude, I want to play The Gathering so bad. Like, I want to so bad.
I feel like after this last like year and a half though, ICP has really come out of the woodwork and been like, oh, okay, you guys are like on our side and we get it. Like,
oh, dude, like I don't personally like their music that much, but I like genuinely love ICP. Like they're sick. They're like gods of DIY, and because they wear like face paint, everyone like gives them shit, and like all the like DIY snobs are like always like but I mean I guess I can kind of relate to being from fucking Ohio, West Virginia, and like they're just like rednecks. Like their fan base is all just a bunch of rednecks.
I remember when I was in high school, there was a girl I knew and she got really into ICP, and every time I saw her, she'd just go like whoop whoop. I'm like, are you okay? Like there's other ways to greet people. We are we have a long way to go, guys. Then she's like, I'm going to The Gathering by myself. And I'm like, you're underage. I don't think that's legal for you to do.
The Gathering was like, at least for a few years, it was only like an hour away from me. It was like real close. So like, I think they moved it to like Indiana or something. But I know for a few years, I think it was. Oh shoot, yeah.
It's too close.
Dude, the first time I ever went to Chicago was Riot Fest, which is like
hell yeah.
So sick. I want to play that too, but obviously everyone does. But dude, I went there in 2013. It was so sick.
Yeah.
That was the Fall Out Boy year, right? I can't remember years.
That sounds right. Yeah.
That was the Blink year, but I didn't go that day. I went for the Replacements, which was
that was the last Fall Out Boy year, because that was
they played Friday. Blink was Saturday.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I'm sure that was insane.
I almost died.
Fine.
Did you guys go?
I mean, we went separately. We didn't know each other at the time.
Oh really? That's sick, dude.
Yeah,
I saw P-Lander Z there, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with P-Lander Z, but if anyone watching this, drop a F in the chat for P-Lander Z, because that band was crazy.
F's in the chat for P-Lander Z. Should you drop a Z in the chat?
That's ridiculous.
I don't know. Drop whatever you want in the chat.
No, that's uncalled for. No.
I'm really sorry. I didn't know the letters. The wrong letters. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Drop the Z in the chat.
Drop a Z in the chat. It's either a bee flying around or it's somebody who's asleep.
Yeah. It's just everyone just fell asleep at the same time.
I'll be honest. I think that like, and I say this with a few connections at Riot Fest, people that I know who work at Riot Fest, but then also like saying information that I cannot back up with any evidence. So take this for what it is. I don't think it'd be that hard. What?
Speculation.
Yeah, it's speculatory. Allegedly, in my estimations, but nothing to be locked in, expected as truth. Do not take these words as truth. I don't really think you'd have a hard time trying to get to play Riot Fest.
Dude, if you know those people, then throw our name out, because that's like literally a lifelong goal. Or like send me some emails. I'll spam.
Yeah, send you some emails. It's again, Alice is saying in the chat, I can't get you to play Riot Fest. That's not something that I can actually do. Nor can I get guests for the podcast, Alice. Like that's not how my connections work at all. But it's like I know the people who book for it, and I'm like, I think that they like are very open to as much variety as possible. And because it's in Chicago, it's just like, we don't know anything. Like a lot of people don't know anything outside of Chicago or outside of the booking agents that like refer them to people. And I would assume that like booking those things is like, you get a lot of like the big bands and you try to like lock in that like really strong big band that sells the tickets. But the harder part is finding like the really good, interesting, like lower level bands that are like gonna be there, you know. If you're playing early, that's still a pretty good slot, and you're still like going to have a good spot on a stage, and people are still going to go there. People are still going to be at your stage. You know, they're there before any band starts playing. So I think that I think that there's a lot of bands that they're looking for like that. Again, that's speculatory, but you know, you got to have that variety there. You got to have different people from different places coming through. And I think that's interesting as an audience member is like, oh, hey, you know, I live in Chicago or I've traveled here to Chicago to see this. But like, hey, I never would have heard this band from West Virginia. I don't know if I could name a band from West Virginia. Right.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's like honestly like the best part about that, like that we are from West Virginia or like we're based out of West Virginia is like every other band or like I have a rap project too. So like every other project I've ever been in, just been based out of Ohio, and everyone's like, yeah, everyone pretty much is based out of Ohio. So like now that it's West Virginia, they're like, oh shoot, like West Virginia band. Like I've never heard of that, which not saying there's so many great West Virginia bands. I'm definitely like not saying that there aren't, but it seems like for some reason people always tell us that they don't really know anyone from West Virginia, which I think's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't feel like Chicago.
I feel like West Virginia. Wow, words are hard. West Virginia really came into the fold recently just because of the election, and then we're like, okay, that's it.
Yeah, it's a lot of Trump supporters down here.
Yeah, I mean, we would assume because everything is just a silo and we're isolated. It's just like, yeah, everybody from West Virginia, like they play country or they play this, and it's like, no, you got to get the band that like doesn't do that, because how interesting is the story of that band growing up in an area that is like that doesn't have as much music happening around them like that then creates a pop punk act. I don't care about pop punk acts that are sitting in a community of a bunch of pop punk bands. Like you're oh, you made like, pop punk because you're sitting in pop punk? Cool.
You mean to tell me there's a surf punk band from Cali? That's crazy.
Would you believe?
Wow, really wild.
Would you believe?
I mean, there's a second Red Hot Chili Peppers band. I cannot believe.
There are hundreds.
Really insane.
Our second album's called California, and our third album's called California 2. It's really weird, but it's interesting.
It's like California 2, but like as like 2 isn't also.
Yeah. Like, also, it's like a project where we're like talking about everything about California. Some people only get to a little bit of LA, but like we're talking about the whole thing, mostly like LA to Santa Monica, but like the whole thing, you know, like the whole part of it. A little bit of Malibu, and then we have like 1.5 songs about Malibu.
I got that. Was a Jamie Kennedy feature?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, there's a band from West Virginia. They're from Huntington, I think. I've never met them, but they're like one of my favorite bands. They're called Left Behind. They're pretty big. They're just like a hardcore band, but dude, they're so sick. They're definitely like the band from West Virginia. Like they're so great. They sold merch probably about a year ago that was a flannel, and if you got it, it came with a Left Behind axe, like a hatchet. It was sick.
What?
Yeah.
That's like when Heart Attack Man put out and they said we're selling knives, and then they had to like put a disclaimer like, you cannot injure or kill people with this, and you cannot sue us.
Yes, that's so sick. Dude, I love Heart Attack Man. Oh, they're so sick.
People, their music is so good.
Yes, I love Eric on was it TikTok? He's so funny on TikTok.
I think I came across one of their TikToks when I was scrolling, and I'm like, wait a second, and then like it refreshed and I lost it, and then I completely forgot about it, and I'm like, but I mean, just on Twitter I see them and I'm like, yeah, are these people okay? Are they good? I mean, they make great music, but are they okay?
I I think he's also the chaotic good as well, is what we were talking about earlier.
All the chaotic goods need to team up on TikTok.
Dude,
And then
yes.
something just straight out chaotic evil is gonna happen. We're gonna be like, you're not doing this again. This was a mistake.
That's hilarious.
Chaotic good turns to chaotic neutral so quickly.
I need a chaotic good / chaotic neutral TikTok emo and pop punk group. I don't know where that is, but it's gotta exist somewhere.
That has to. You guys should the emo social club chaotic good pop punk. Like,
oh my god!
but since it's emo, you got to make it all one word. Like,
yeah.
And that would be chaotic as well. So there you go.
It all goes together. All comes together.
Yes, it's like the MySpace group on Facebook.
Yeah,
which is hilarious that name exists.
It's just a bunch of people being like, "Look, this was my old MySpace page."
Pretty much. Yeah, there's a lot of like talk about like those MySpace like mathcore bands and stuff too, which I love that shit. But yeah, it's sick.
But here's the thing. Do you remember what your MySpace name was?
I just had Gage Voda. I was a lame.
Yeah, your name already is kind of great. Like you have a good MySpace name.
Edgy name to begin with.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Like being named Brian, you're like, oh, Brian on MySpace. Like, no one cares. Fuck you, Brian.
There's too many Brians.
Too many Brians.
Yeah.
Dude, that should have been your name. Too many Brians.
But it would have also been misspelled as brains because
oh my god, yeah.
Oh, the MySpace. Yes.
The amount of times that I still to this day, I don't even have a job where anybody would be emailing me that constantly, and I still get emails that are like, "Hi, brain," and I'm like, "Get out of my life forever, whoever you are."
Everyone in the world calls me Gabe, so like I feel you so hard.
I'm like thinking like they're close enough on the keyboard, they might get there.
It's like a huge meme in like the local the local music group or music scene. Everyone just calls me Gabe because like literally anyone ever that's like touring through or like trying to like book their band will be like, "Hey Gabe, what's up? Can you book me at this?" And it's just like the funniest thing.
Have you ever been like, actually it's Gage? And they're just like,
I usually just roll with it at this point. I used to be like, "Hey, what's up?" And now I'm just like, "Yep. My name's Gabe."
Sure.
Get you a little like name tag or like the mechanics shirt that says Gabe on it.
Dude, even at I used to sell suits at this store called Boscov's, and I literally had a name tag real big, said Gage, and everyone like we worked on commission, and like so like when someone would be like, the cashier would be like, "Hey, who helped you?" Every single time they'd just be like, "Oh, Gabe did." And
damn,
it's like I'm gonna jump off of this store.
Like I'm noticing that like while we're talking to you, you have a sign behind your head that has your name on it, just in case.
I forgot that even existed. That's hilarious.
I'm like I would imagine though if you were messing up like the second G, why wouldn't you also mess up the first G? But then it's like, well, I can't call him Babe. Like,
hey,
just
babe.
out here like, "Hey, babe." It's like that's also not appropriate to send in an email.
Oh, that Babe helped me out with the
and they're suits. Like, "Oh, which one?" And then you're like, "Oh,
just the pig." Wasn't there a pig named Babe? Isn't that a show?
Yeah. Yes. I think it was like that part of that movie cycle. I don't remember. It might have been DreamWorks, but I always remember saying Babe the pig, and then like right afterwards, the commercial would be Cats the musical before the godforsaken. But it was a godforsaken like children's movie for some weird reason, and I'm like, "What is this?
That's
what
funny.
The fuck is this?"
They just made a Cats the musical movie, didn't they?
Yeah,
like
they did.
A year ago.
Tragedy.
Yeah, they did.
The only thing I know about that movie is that Taylor Swift is in it, and that they had to CGI remove Jason Derulo's bulge. That's
That
all
is
I know about that. That's
apparently
like
what is true. Yeah.
And then they had the human hands too. So
Yeah.
there was like the fully edited version, and then there was like the not fully edited version that got originally released to a bunch of theaters on the first round, and they have human hands. So the second one they had to go back and hurriedly like re-edit them, so they had like cat hands instead of human hands.
what was I feel like they spent their whole budget on like people, like just booking famous people.
And then it was like the worst movie ever made.
No one wanted horny cats. No one wanted that.
Literally nobody asked for it. No, except for the furries, maybe. I don't know.
Well,
like,
yeah, definitely, absolutely. You know that was exactly who that was made for.
I watched this one YouTuber talk about it because I didn't care to watch it. I'm like, this isn't for me. I'm not going to enjoy watching this, so I don't need to check this out. But like, she pulled all of these interviews from Andrew Lloyd Webber and like people who talked to Andrew Lloyd Webber at the time, and they were like, I asked him, you know, what is this musical about? There's like so much going on here, and he looked at him and he said, it's about cats. It's like, no, it's not. Why are they fucking kind of?
Dude, it reminds. Have you guys seen Schitt's Creek?
Oh yeah,
I watched some of it, and it's pretty funny from what I've seen.
It reminds me of the Bird movie that Moira's like doing.
Yeah. Oh my god! At least that like the fact that Cats was released and there was no irony about it. Like it's just like, no, this is real. What are you guys all laughing at? Like it's like you present this to the world and everyone's laughing at it, and you're like, what? It's like, you didn't know?
Like, what? You don't think that this is a work of art? No.
Did you not look at it at any time?
It's kind of like
the critics never tell you, hey, dude, like, no.
How wild would that be if at the end of the credits were like, look, we know we messed up, but like, thanks for we tried.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, spending your like $10 getting fucking ripped, drunk, or high as shit. Appreciate it.
People did. It's the only way to watch it.
People went up. Friends who would text me. They're like, high as shit watching Cats. I'm like, good for you.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's hilarious. That's how I remember when Alice in Wonderland came out. Yeah. I was a freshman in high school, and I remember like all the like stoner kids and like party kids would all just like go, like they'd see it like twice in one weekend, just getting messed up in the theater, and they're like 14.
I mean, yeah, those movies, those Alice in Wonderland movies, the Tim Burton ones, just like completely passed me by. As a Tim Burton fan, as a Johnny Depp fan, as a Sacha Baron Cohen fan for the second one, is like just completely passed me by.
Yeah.
Like, that came out when? What?
It came out, and then Avril Lavigne did a song that was very easily forgettable. I'm so sorry.
That soundtrack
That's how you remember
slapped, though. That soundtrack, I loved that soundtrack. I had that CD.
I don't remember it fully, but I like the movie. I remember seeing the movie in theaters, and I really enjoyed it. I don't remember the music though, but I also haven't listened or watched that movie since it was.
I feel.
Yeah, wasn't 303 on the soundtrack too? I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
There's always that one random movie that'll pick like a bunch of emo and pop punk scene bands to like be on the soundtrack because they're like, you're popular, let's get you on this movie soundtrack. You'll help us sell tickets to the theater.
I'm pretty sure Fall Out Boy was on it too.
Were they?
Lizzie, can you concur?
I think so.
I don't know if I can confirm. Where's our resident Fall Out Boy archivist, Lindsay, in the chat?
I know. We usually have somebody who comes through who like knows all the Fall Out Boy trivia, and it's like we'll put on a song.
Maybe it was Panic. Panic was Jennifer's Body, New Perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Fall Out Boy, wasn't it the one where they're all on the carousel? Wasn't that in the movie? The music video where they're all on the carousel?
America's Sweethearts. That might have been on something, or it just looked a lot like Alice.
Maybe that, yeah. Maybe it just looked like it.
Yeah.
If someone in the chat can confirm or deny,
please confirm. Use your resources.
Yeah. Dude, that Jennifer's Body soundtrack slapped. I've actually never seen that movie, but
Yeah,
Really?
soundtrack was crazy.
Yeah. New
I just
Perspective is
listened
one of
to-
Panic's best songs.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, yes, I love that song.
Yeah.
Cute is What We Aim For was on that too.
Really?
God.
Yeah.
Is it just a Fuel by Ramen pick? Just like, let's
Yeah,
get all the
that's-
Fuel by Ramen
everyone
bands on
the
here.
clock
Yeah.
On here right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, that's crazy. What a time. Those movies were like a year or two apart too.
Yeah.
That's wild to think about.
Yeah.
You
No,
can't imagine.
honestly.
You're like, wait, Alice in
No.
Wonderland, did that happen? Did you make that? like when
Jennifer's
people are
Body,
talking
who made this?
like when people are talking about like the live action Disney movies, I'm like, yeah, there was like the Jungle Book, there was the Lion King, there was Mulan now. Like then that's like pretty much it, right? And they're like, oh, Dumbo. And I'm like, fucking Dumbo? What? When?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
like Tim Burton
I
made a
haven't seen
Dumbo
that,
movie.
but yeah.
I
And I'm
haven't
like-
seen it, but I remember when they released like the concept, like CGI, and Dumbo looked like very Tim Burton, and people were like losing their shit. They're like, "This is terrifying." I'm like, Dumbo's plotline is fucking terrifying. Where
Yeah.
have you
Yeah.
been?
That's crazy. I didn't know Tim Burton did that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And it just like it blows your mind, right? You're like,
Yeah.
wait, this movie not only has been released and has been out for multiples of years, but how did that happen? Where did it happen to?
Yeah.
It's so weird that like just the collective knowledge of this full movie, which is just such a, I think now maybe this year where like movies don't really mean as much anymore because it's like they're all literally on my phone. I can watch a movie on my phone from anywhere at any time if I want to, that it's like, who cares if you release it in theaters? But the idea that a movie could be released in theaters and be such a like event that had advertising dollars behind it, and you're just like, wait, when? Is so
Yeah.
weird to me.
It's kind of like low key depressing because it's like they spent all that money and like
Yeah.
resources to try to get you to know about it, and it's just like, oh, that I didn't even care about that.
I know.
Like
Not crossed my
I haven't
radar.
seen any of those like live action versions that Disney does. I just like don't care. Like I like the cartoons when I was like a kid or whatever, but like I'm not really like trying to see Dumbo. Like,
Fact.
yeah, I mean now that it's Tim Burton, I didn't.
I think
realize that.
I want to
might
see
peep
it, but it's also like that's a very emotionally wrecking plot line. So I'm like have to be like emotionally somewhat stable, and it's like they're in this here. We might have to revisit it.
Yeah, you're not missing much. I related to like the movies of our childhood were these Disney cartoons. That is the thing that we grew up with, and that's what we got. And now for the kids that are growing up in the age now, you get the live action version. But you should also check out the cartoon because the cartoons are just intrinsically much better. But enjoy what you enjoy and enjoy what you grow up with. The kids that are watching these Disney movies, these live action ones now, that when they grow up, they're going to have a totally different view on everything from their childhood than we did. So
absolutely.
Let's see what happens to these fucking kids looking at Dumbo, Tim Burton, and fucking Lion King.
Like, I'm surprised.
I just remembered another one, Beauty and the Beast. There was a Beauty and the Beast
I heard
live
that was like
action.
terrible.
I saw that's the only one I did see actually. I don't remember how I saw that, but I saw it and it was whatever. Like
Yeah, you're like I'm not excited about it.
yeah,
Like I
it
feel
was
like that's so telling,
Yeah, it was the story that I've heard or seen a million times, but like already like we all grew up with that stuff, so it's not like it's anything new because they don't change these stories.
Yeah.
It's just the same thing.
They changed Mulan though, and they took out Mushu, which was and like most of the characters except for Mulan.
Isn't that the talking dragon?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're not gonna have a talking dragon. Like,
The effect is the effect.
I know, but I think that there's like some stuff that was more accepted when these movies were originally made. That like obviously they took out a lot of the racist shit in Dumbo, which good, but
Yeah,
also
good.
like you're remaking a movie that had a bunch of racist shit in it. Maybe that is in itself the problem, is that you're remaking this movie that you have to take shit out of. Like if you have to change the story may not be that good in the first place, and you maybe then like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I felt
about
weird about that
Dumbo,
stuff
but
too.
I know a lot of the like racist stuff in Disney, I feel like didn't really impact the story too much. It was just kind of there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. Like,
It's kind of weird.
It was like in Peter Pan,
Yeah.
like that you go back and you see the Native American scenes and you're like, oh,
yeah.
I see that now.
Hmm.
I understand.
Then there's the argument of should Disney like should we be holding Disney to account for any of that? Which, if you're like, well, product of the times, probably not. Like that was just what movies were being made at the time, and it's not Disney's fault they made a movie
Disney
that was similar to everything else.
Like, he was like a
Disney
Nazi.
Yeah, but then there's also like, they didn't have to do that. They did do it.
I feel you. I feel what you're saying though. Like it is like you can't always like judge history as like today's standards. I mean, that's gonna get me canceled saying that, but like, like I understand what people mean by that, but like at the same time, it's like, yeah, but like you don't have to like redo it. Like you don't have to remake the movie. Like it's just dumb. Like it happened and it's shitty, but like just keep it there. Like it's like I'm sure there's something else you could do.
On a lot of it now, like on Disney Plus, if it's an older like Disney animated cartoon from like I think like the 60s or something, they'll put a warning beforehand and be like, this is no longer like culturally acceptable. This was like a product of the times, and we know that this is like not good to call people or to depict people now.
That's good. I mean, I guess that's like literally the bare minimum they could do.
Right.
Like, so I guess it's not really that good, but you know what I mean? Like it's at least they're trying to do something, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna come to the point where Great Gatsby is in public domain, and you know, Nick Carraway
That's this year.
Disney princess, and you know what? It's gonna be great.
Oh my god.
Yeah. There's a was it For Your Health that just had a song called maybe not For Your Health. There's a band, like a mathcore band, that just had a song called The Great Gatsby's public domain now or something like that.
Not
but
bad.
yeah. Dude,
that
should just be our next music video, just the full Great Gatsby.
The whole book.
You have the green light. Over there, you got the pool.
Yes.
If you watch this YouTube video at negative 20 times the speed, you can it's technically the audio book of The Great Gatsby.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we just like time lapse, like how time lapse are really fast. We just do that with the movie.
Yeah.
That dude.
You'll be the new Spark Notes. People
Be
won't
legit.
read Spark Notes. They'll just watch the Save Moms Great Gatsby music video and be like, all right, guys, I know what happens.
I think we just came up with our next music video.
I love it. That's the kind of shit that like gets you fucking viral. Like you're like, yo, this music video is technically The Great Gatsby, which is public domain now. We're allowed to do this. That could be fucking legit.
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be so good.
I'm definitely gonna send that message in the group chat. I wish we didn't just film a music video for 231 because that would have been hilarious. We were like, I've been in like basically quarantine for like the past 2 months, but we were having like I'm not even technically in the new music video because like we just couldn't. There's like old footage of us like it makes sense in the video, but like trying to figure out how we were gonna shoot the new parts was a nightmare. So like I wish I would have had we would have had this conversation before then. Because that would have been the move for real. Because like we've talked about we plan on doing. So like if anyone steals this idea,
don't do it.
I'm a find you.
This is technically copyright.
Yeah,
and off the Gage, and he'll put the Gabe on. You're not gonna know it.
You are not
gonna know.
The ski mask and the Gabe name tag.
That guy could be anybody.
But
like you know who it might not be. It might not be people. Like, come on, guys. Do you really think? Let's think.
Couldn't be Gage. It's got to be in it.
Yes. It's just that Babe the pig. That's who did it.
Babe.
That's who
I don't know who did it, but they're kind of a babe.
Had to do it to him. He said animal rights. That's it.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I did want to ask real quick. So you had mentioned with your 2 EPs, they're kind of like that tells a story. What exactly is that story, or is that like a TBD story that we're going to find out along the way, like we do with Caraway for Gatsby?
It's not really. It's not really like a story. Like it's not a concept album, but it's like a certain time in my life. So like it's from 2019, late 2018 into the now it'll be like present time, because the last song 231's present time. So it's like that chunk of time is like the first songs about like of the last. I can't speak. I'm sorry. The first song of the last EP is like where I was in like 2018, and then all the way up to like each song's about a different part of my life, but they all go together.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, let's make sure we give you some plugs here so that everybody can find out where they can find you and hear the whole story as it goes through. So why don't you throw out where everybody can find you on the internet, you or the band or both, or how people can, I'm sure, spell your name correctly so that they're not like, well, Gabe, I can't find Gabe.
That's funny. But yeah, so at Stage Moms WV on Twitter and Instagram, TikTok as well. We just made a TikTok. We've only have like 1, maybe 2 of those videos, but I definitely want to start taking it more seriously. But Instagram and Twitter is where we're at like 99% of the time. We have a Facebook as well. That's just Stage Moms. I think the URL might be Stage Moms WV, but I don't think so. I think it's literally just Stage Moms. But yeah, Stage Moms WV for Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, anything, YouTube. It's just Stage Moms. We got some music. Sorry, what were you saying?
And watch the video for Sophomore Slump. Get it to a million views.
Yeah,
get it to a million views. Subscribe. We got we got 4 music videos on there, and then we got like a little skit we did, which the skit only has like 200 views. That is like the funniest thing I've ever been a part of, and I hate that it only has like 200 views. So
get it to a million.
Yeah,
get it to a million views.
I also want to get all of our social media up to a million views. Not too bad, since we're already halfway there.
Yeah.
We're close, or whatever that meme said.
Look, having it on the internet means that you're closer to a million views than if you didn't post it, I guess.
I think the meme was like, we're so close to a million views, we only need 900 and something thousand more, or something like that.
That's pretty good.
That's so funny. Dude, Taylor, our manager, just texted me, like, I read it real quick, and he said, I about just had a heart attack when you guys said the million. he was like, what?
Are we viral?
What is this?
That's so funny.
All right. Well, for the podcast part, we will end the recording there, and we will continue to have a conversation over on Twitch with our friends that are hanging out in the chat. So if you're listening to this, make sure that you are following us on Twitch if you want to join the conversation. But until next time, we'll say thank you to Gage and Stage Moms for being on the podcast tonight. And we'll check y'all later. So
thank you.
Thanks, Gage.
Yeah, thanks. Follow us on Instagram.
Do it.